4 Midwest Guys presents The Night's Watch, a Game of Thrones podcast.
Night gathers, and now my watch begins. I am the sword in the darkness. I am the watcher on the walls. I am the shield that guards the realm of men.
We watch, we listen, and we remember. The past is already written, the ink is dry.
I thought he was the man to lead us through the long night. And I was wrong.
I'll show them what Lannisters are. What we do to our enemies.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink, and I know things.
I believe men of talent have a part to play in the war to come. I will never sit around.
You could help another climb those steps and take that seat.
I'm not going to stop the wheel. I'm going to break the wheel.
They have no idea what's going to happen.
The real war is between the living and the dead. And make no mistake, the dead are coming. I'm glad you're dead. I'm glad you're dead.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 4 Midwest Guys Presents A Night's Watch, a Game of Thrones podcast. Today we will be reviewing Season 6, Episode 9, The Battle of the Bastards. With me today is Bastard John Z.
I'd like to say I'm very proud of new sponsor, Heavy Bubbles. I've been drinking nothing but Heavy Bubbles water. Only at 5 kilo now, but muscles have been severely jacked. I hope to get to 10 kilos soon. Hopefully become size of mountain.
And if you didn't get that reference, YouTube it. And his lovely wife, Stephanie.
I don't know if I want to be his lovely wife after that anymore.
You will after the 10 kilo.
After the 10? Okay.
We call her Tiny Bubbles.
Tiny. And as you heard, Brian Eckenbauer's back.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on? And my brother Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. All right. So now that we have Tiny Bubbles with us, what an episode! My God, probably maybe the best episode of Game of Thrones ever.
Easily the most satisfying, if not the most satisfying hour I've seen on TV.
I laughed at the end.
You laughed at the end?
I've never laughed.
Wait, save it for the end.
Well, that's why I broke out the Joker at the beginning. Okay, I'm glad you're dead. Anyway, because I've been asking you guys.
Build up, man. Build up.
Love him, and you did.
You loved him. Thank you so much.
That's why we must all love him, like we said at the end of every episode.
Now we just have to choose somebody else, because if
there'll be some.
We'll figure something out.
There's got to be someone.
All right. I'm thinking Jaime Lannister. I don't know.
No!
Well, maybe. Okay, Dorne.
Somebody else step up. We're good.
Just the country of Dorne.
Just the country of Dorne. Well, that's just... Aren't you a racist bastard?
He's like, it's so boring there!
He's like, I love Dorne. And like, they all die. Dorne is dead.
Suddenly, Dorne falls into the sea. Okay.
What's that? Westeros warming.
All right, so let's get into it. So when we last left our slavers, they were
pretty much bombing the pyramid. And like Daenerys just came back on her dragon.
Yep.
She's like, what the fuck?
I leave for a couple of days, and you're what have you done?
All right, Imp, explain yourself.
Pretty much, yeah. And I almost felt bad for Tyrion here because I thought. I think he was actually a little scared for his life at first. Like, he thought maybe his head was going to be on the chopping block at first until she turns around and agrees with him.
Well, it's like the first... I mean, he has to explain what he did. And it's the first time that his words didn't work out for him the way he wanted them to.
Yeah.
Or one of the times.
Well, yeah, it was kind of odd. Like, the whole... Up until that point when they started attacking, you've kind of got the feeling that everything was going the way he wanted it. His... Like you said, his words were working for him, towards him, and then all of a sudden, that hit, the shit just hit the fan, and they started bombing, and then all of a sudden she should have been like, well, crap.
Yeah. Well, because the whole time he was being warned is like, you don't know the slavers the way we know the slavers, and, Tyrion tried to be the diplomatic one, and he just basically was told, this was, the result was like, you can't be diplomatic with slavers.
Well, basically, yeah, they just... Yeah, they were right and he was wrong, or maybe he was partially right, but he went about it the wrong way with them. I don't know. he had a good idea. It just didn't translate. They translated it to weakness.
He made a deal with the wrong people.
Well, it was a weakness to the slavers instead of a deal.
This is a character that has used his mouth and his words to get him out of so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought he was kind of out of the woods with this, and he made a deal with the devil in a way. And he didn't expect the devil to come back and bite him in the ass, which it did.
Well, I think it was his lack of the culture, right? Obviously,
he
things in the north are way different than they were in the south.
It's they're less diplomatic up there than they were.
Yeah, apparently it's all by the sword in the south, whereas they have a diplomatic. They're a little bit more sophisticated, perhaps.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's used to working within King's Landing, where when he makes a deal there, he kind of has some security knowing that they're going to abide by it for the most part.
They know my name. I'm important.
Right.
That's his world, and now he's in
their world.
Their world.
Yeah.
Where his name means absolutely nothing.
But he goes on, and he after Khaleesi finally
Daenerys Khaleesi
just kind of agrees with him, and he lets him off the hook essentially, and you kind of see a sigh of relief on his face. She's like, well, let's go to war, let's kill them all, let's destroy their cities. And he actually brings her back. He brings in that wisdom again, and he says, well, wait a minute, that's what your father would have done. What the Mad King would have done.
You sound like your father.
Starting to sound like your father, yeah.
Which
is the reason why he was killed.
Right. Well, exactly. We've been wondering this throughout the whole season. Is Daenerys becoming a conqueror? I mean, she's starting to kind of sound like she needs someone to bring her back.
Yeah.
Well, she kind of is a conqueror.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, she has more or less the equivalent of the Mongol horde at
the
back.
She really does.
Yeah, I mean, she's turning into a conqueror, but it's more of a almost, does she need it now?
Hell, conquering hero.
And instead of, as opposed to just the, I want to do this because I want to unite, blah, 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 and I want to, now it's almost like I have to have this. Let's do this because I want to have this, or it's kind of like a greed thing almost taking over.
Yeah, she has been kind of, I guess, more in a power trip. That's a good point.
Slipping into the mad ruler territory almost.
Yeah.
Ever since torching herself and kind of getting that Dothraki army, she's like, I'm unstoppable. No one can touch me.
Yeah.
In terms of military force, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, even her ego has taken that over too.
Yeah. I mean, that's always kind of the issue with power in a lot of these storylines is, can it ever be uncorruptible sort of thing.
But yeah, so he steers her away from obliterating Volantis and the other city, I can't think of it right now.
Slavers Bay.
Yeah.
What was the third one? Because wasn't it like
there was
Marine?
Marine, Slavers Bay, and
Slavers Bay.
I can't remember. People will yell at us.
She lives in Marine.
I know
that's where she is.
But they were anyway. We had the Sons of the Harpy and stuff. But anyway, so he turns and says, "I've got a better idea," and sets up this big diplomatic meeting with the.
They have a parlay.
The big three of the slavers return, and they have a little parlay outside of. I guess you would, although they're still bombarding. It looks like
they're bombing the pyramid right behind them.
But anyway, so I don't really know if it's necessarily parlay. It's just a meeting outside
it was just being
the temple.
Discuss the terms of
the generals are, having a...
Yeah, they came out and said, all right, so this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
So basically, okay, what are your terms of surrender? And they just...
We're here to discuss terms of surrender.
We're here to discuss terms of surrender. And automatically the slavers go, well, you need to pack your bags, you need to go, you need to give us back you need to give Grey Worm's going to become our slave again, all the Unsullied are going to become our slave again, you're going to give us back, what's her name? Cassandra. She's going back into slavery, and pack your bags and go. And that's our terms. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, was I not clear in our communication? We're talking about your terms for surrender.
Yeah, the terms of your
surrender.
And Drago just comes soaring in.
Yeah, and enter Drago comes behind. She gets on the dragon, takes off. And
before she does, she just states, my reign has just begun.
Well, because the slavers were like, your reign. What do you mean our surrender? Your reign hasn't even started, or
your reign is coming to an end.
Your reign's over.
Yeah.
And she goes, no, my reign has just begun.
Yeah, the second the dragon lands, all the soldiers just back down. They're like,
yeah. I'm sorry if you see a big black ass dragon that's how.
Well, the dragon got to be black.
He's bad. That's why.
Well, they
the shaft of dragons.
He is the shaft of dragons. Drago
He's a bad dragon. Shut your mouth.
Talking about dragons.
Their security team that came, the slaver security team that came with them, backed down because they were told. Grey Worm said, "You can either walk away peacefully,
go back to your families,
go back to your families, and walk away peacefully, or you'll die right here."
Yeah.
And they went.
Every night, just drop their
Okay,
sword.
bye.
Like,
Good.
I mean, if you see a big black dragon drag, she walks on and takes off on it.
It's
Yeah, I'm probably
red
gonna.
and
it's a
black.
red.
It's a big black dragon. Okay.
Oh my god!
Just get over it. With a little bit of red on it.
You have websites you can go to see those, right?
Yep. So
Anyway,
you act like I said big black dick. I did not say that. I said big black dragon.
Anyway.
Let's get on with it.
So she climbs her big black dragon.
She mounts it. Whoa.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm just having like visions of the Daredevil and the Unicorn in the end credits.
Anyway, yes,
There's some
Drago.
Freudian symbolism going on in
If
this
we had-
episode, apparently.
If we had Collins in the show, people would be like, "Thank you." Oh, okay. Anyway,
This is
moving
gonna
on.
be a 3-hour show.
And they say,
Oh, yeah.
you know, which one of you three is going to die?
Oh yeah, that's great.
And they turn
Oh,
on each other.
Right before that, I mean, she has all the dragons looking down at the ships. And just says that line that we love, Dracarys.
Yeah, and they
and just
not even-
fucking roast the
Even
ships
before
and
that, you see her
everyone.
flying over the city, and you have like the two dragons break out of the cave.
Yeah.
Apparently, they heard the third dragon. There's
Yep.
like shit's going down.
Like,
Yes,
oh,
I
hey,
have been
we don't
so
have these
bored.
collars on. We can get out.
We're good. Let's go, team.
And then on top of that, you have the Dothraki army chasing down the sons of the Harpies and
Oh, yeah,
just
just-
slaughtering them.
Going right through the city.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was great with the Harpies.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, because they're taking
Dario riding
they're taking
with
out
them and
everybody
the sword.
on the beachfront right there,
Yeah.
and they're just going to town, and all of a sudden, I could have sworn the mask, like, you know, it looked
It
funny.
didn't.
Like they turned to look over at the army coming out, and it was like they went, oh.
It went from happy mask to sad mask.
Yeah, it was like a happy mask, and all of a sudden it was like, oh,
Surprise emoji.
yeah, surprise emoji.
Yeah, we're fucked.
My acting class mask just went from comedy to drama.
So yes, they turn on each other. Yes, the slavers turn on each other.
And say he's lowborn.
And,
That's what
and,
I love.
and the richest one goes, "He's lowborn. He's not one of us. Here,
They
here."
push it, both
Been
and push
rolling
him
for like
out.
a year.
Yeah, so he goes down on his knees and tries begging for his life.
Yeah.
And what's
Grey-
the guy's
Grey
name?
Worm.
Grey Worm.
Grey Worm comes over and just with two knives, like this.
One knife.
basically
One knife.
was it
One,
knife?
Yeah,
one
just-
sword
Slices
the other two's heads off because the other guy was kneeling. He was spared.
Yeah, he had-
and Tyrion just looks at him and goes, "I want you to tell everyone you're left alive because I want you to tell everyone how merciful and how grateful you are that you are alive. And if anyone tries to rise up against Daenerys, you will."
Stormborn, yeah.
This is Daenerys Stormborn. You will remind them of what happened today.
And what I love about this whole
And he pats him on his chest. He's
You
like,
can almost
okay.
see. I swear, had the guy stood up, you probably would have seen a circle of pee underneath him.
You ever see like
Yeah.
every bodily fluid a person can excrete underneath?
Actually,
them?
that would have been hilarious if he walked up and saw nothing but a wet spot down there. That'd been hilarious. But the one thing I loved about this whole scene is she only torched one ship to make her point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
then
assume she's capturing.
yeah, and she assumed the rest of her ships because
Yeah.
that's what she needed. So I just
She's beginning her fleet.
yeah, it great strategy by Tyrion,
yeah,
right?
the first start of the fleet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we get more than later.
Later,
as we'll see
on.
later.
Exactly.
But that's the other thing too is typically in Game of Thrones like season 9, like if we have like our big battles, we're used to seeing them focus on just the big battle. I thought we were going to be outside of Winterfell the whole time. No, we got this wonderful sequence outside of Marine. So we've got like 10 minutes that we're just feeling, oh my god, this is so great. This is so great.
Right, and I'll be honest with
still
you.
kind of epic and extravagant, but he was over pretty quickly
Yeah.
in comparison to, like, say, the Battle of Blackwater, which was like a full
Yeah.
episode.
Well, you have dragons.
Yeah,
But
they make that way easier.
well, yeah, they're definitely like the nuclear weapon of the era, but the trump card, if you will. But I'll be honest with you, as pumped up as I was like, as soon as they flashed away from the scene to the next scene, I'm like, ah, fuck. because they got us up high and now they're going to bring us down low. This is where it's all going to fall apart.
Damn you, Game of Thrones!
I know it's coming.
You're setting me up for failure.
Damn you!
Get right up there.
Damn you, Martin! I know it's coming.
And we're brought right out to Winterfell.
Yeah. So next scene, we end up on what the terms for battle. Basically, you have Jon Snow, Sansa, that girl from the bear house again. She's there. Mormont, yes, thank you.
Bear Island.
Bear Island, yeah. She's there. And then on the other side, you have Ramsey, the leader of the Costarks, and a few other houses.
And the Umbers.
Yeah. So they have a talk, and basically, he's thousands of men don't need to die. Only one of us. Actually, Ramsey starts off and he goes, "Here's my terms. Kneel before me, and I'll forgive everybody. Thank you for bringing back my wife.
Yes,
lovely wife,
my
Lady
lovely
Bolton.
Sansa.
Yeah, Lady Bolton." And he's like, thousands. And then Jon says, "Well," he goes on, "thousands of men don't have to die. Only one." And then Jon goes, "Only one of us, though."
Jon did that to bait him, and to bait him, and B, for his men that were with him to see that he wasn't even willing to, die for them.
Oh yeah,
he was a morality,
he was kind of hoping.
Morale.
Yeah, he was kind of hoping that his men would see that and say, "Hey, why am I fighting for this ass?
Why would I fight for somebody who won't fight for me?"
Right.
Yeah. And even Ramsey said, "You're good." And even for Ramsey to tell Jon that he's good, meaning I'm not going to fall for your trap. But
it's actually kind of funny because throughout the entire conversation, you constantly hear Ramsey be referring to Jon as like bastard or Snow.
Yeah,
he's even though Ramsey himself was born of Snow,
right?
And he kind of got his position later on. You see him constantly trying to maneuver himself to make himself sound and feel more powerful.
Hello, bastard.
Yeah.
Bastard, thank you for bringing back my wife.
Well, he also didn't have the letter he sent with the Raven, didn't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big line that he drops is, "My dogs have not been fed in 7 days. They're looking forward to meeting you."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then
you and your army,
Sansa says, "Sleep," and then they tell him, "Sleep well, because for tomorrow you die."
Well, Sansa also told Bolton her line out of the whole thing was, "I'm a Stark.
Mm-hmm.
I'm where I need to be."
Yeah, that's true. So we move on to next scene is we move on to the battle plans. We're on Jon Snow's tent, and they're going back and forth about how they need to win the war and how they need to lead Ramsey into attacking first.
Yeah. So they could. Well, that's one of the funnier parts when he's like, "So we can attack from the flanks," and then the wildling's like, "Huh?" He's like, "We'll do what?" Like he thought it was like, and he's like. Attack from the sides, and he's like, "Oh."
But he actually had to take the men and show him physically.
Yeah. I was showing him on the map. On the sides.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
obviously,
because wildlings are always about pillaging and attacking head on.
Well, not like really strategy.
Right? They don't have any kind of strategy.
Go. That's the wildling strategy.
Yeah, there's no military tactics,
which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was funny too. Actually, I got a kick out of it.
I think that has to do with the fact that I've seen that commercial with the weather.
The weather,
where he's talking about the Wyndham hotels. So now when he delivers his lines, that's as soon as I think I heard it. He's like, "Stay here."
Maybe we can get them for next week's sponsor.
Yes.
So as they kind of conclude, and then Sansa takes Jon aside and says, "You don't know Ramsey. You don't know him like I do. He's going to play with your mind. He's been doing it his whole life. You don't understand this guy." And Jon's like, "Well, I've faced worse. I faced the wall. I've done this, blah, blah, blah."
She's like, "You've never faced him."
Never faced him. And it's kind of a back and forth between them.
She actually got mad, and this was not in front of everybody.
No, this is just between her and Jon.
Everyone left the tent, and she's actually mad at him. She's like, she's like, "I'm glad you have your war generals, but why haven't you talked to me? I lived with him.
I know him."
Well, she also said, like, "Why didn't you wait? Why didn't you wait till you had a bigger army?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which again, I mean, I've got a point I'm going to bring up a little later in the end about Jon Snow. But
he knows what's coming too, though. Like he knows the Night Walker, he
knows he's
White Walkers are heading this direction. He knows what's coming.
Yeah.
So it's basically like he's running from
time.
Yeah, he's running from the other one, the bigger one, because the small. It's like it's following behind him.
Well, that and I mean his army's kind of loosely connected anyway. You have that staying on in like camps for long periods of time. you lower morale for a long period, you might just have tons of people just running back to their houses or castles or keeps or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And they need to get this over
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
But basically, she warns him. She goes like, "He's going to lead you into a trap," and he doesn't really. She kind of, I won't say he takes her advice, but he doesn't really take her advice. He listens to her, but he doesn't take it to heed, I guess,
Well,
would be my...
one thing we didn't mention before was during that not parlay, but during that terms and stuff like that with Ramsey and John, John asked him, how do we know you actually have Rickon? How do we know that's not a trap?
Oh, right.
And
With
Ramsey looks at Umber and said, go ahead. And they basically show him the direwolf's head.
Throw out the rotting head of the direwolf.
Yeah.
And
they love collecting those things. Don't
John
they
and
just throw them
Sansa.
out?
Yeah, seriously. John and Sansa looked so pissed, and they were like, "Yeah, if they've got this, then they've got Rickon."
They've got Rickon, yeah.
So that's the other driving force that John tells Sansa. Look, they've got our brother.
Yeah.
We need to go now. So and Sansa kind of throws it in his face and says, he's going to kill our brother. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're lucky if he's even alive now.
Which we all kind of like, Steph and I, when we were watching it, we kind of got that sense. It's like, I don't think Rickon's getting out of this alive.
No.
Well, I mean, even you go back a couple episodes where, like, someone can make the claim that Rickon might actually be, like, the rightful heir, like, to the north.
Right, yeah, they mentioned that one.
Yeah, like, he's really just an issue for Bolton at that point.
And that's what Sansa said.
Yeah.
Rickon's more of an heir than you are.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, he's more...
He's a liability,
He would be more of a liability than you, and killing him would be, nothing.
He's already dead, essentially, is what she says.
One of the things I found interesting about it, she pretty much tells John, don't do what he expects you to do, and you need a bigger army, but she doesn't mention that she's called for, the Knights of the Vale.
No.
And she doesn't really give any tips on like, terms of battlefield. She's just like, do it better and different. And it's just like, but she's not really...
Well, how? How do you want me to do that?
Yeah, she doesn't really give any constructive criticism.
This is what we've got. This is what I can do.
And to be fair, though, she says, I don't understand Battlefront strategy. She says, but I do know Ramsey. So, it's kind of...
Did you bring up the fact that he said he wouldn't fight him one-on-one?
Well, they did bring that up.
About it,
Yeah,
the
the
line was elsewhere. I think I was reading something.
Yeah, the Wildling General brings it up and says, would you really have fought him? Or what do you think he really... Or something like that.
No. When he said... When they're talking face-to-face, and he's like...
he said, fight me.
Yeah, he said that.
Fight me.
Not all of us have to die.
Right.
He's like, thousands of men don't need to die, only one.
And then he's like, well, I have more men than you. And he's like, well, how many of them are going to fight? How many of them will fight you if they know that you wouldn't fight for them?
Yeah,
right.
we talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
So, what's the Wildling Chief's name again? Torm? Is it Torm? Anyway. Wildling Chief. You're the encyclopedia
I'm
stuff.
sorry, I
I think it's Tormund. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
I like it.
I call him Wyndham.
Okay.
I call him the red-faced beard guy.
Okay. So
Guy that likes Brienne.
I'll just say Tormund, and if we're wrong, please shout at us. Okay. So Davos and Tormund, they go for this walk, and this is a good scene. I like this scene.
It was really good.
Kind of back and forth, and Tormund offers him some spoiled goat's milk, that jug that he has, which is far better than the grape water that they drink here in the north, to the south, or whatever. However you want to look at it.
Yeah.
And Davos goes, well, I don't drink before a battle. I just walk until nobody can hear me, completely shit myself,
Shit my brains out.
Shit my brains out, essentially. And great line from Tormund. He just goes, happy shitting.
Yeah, you can already see that meme kind of going around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Happy shitting.
And I'm having my bathroom done right now, and I want that little thing.
Just like a little wood plaque.
With a wood plaque that says happy shitting with his face on it.
Your daughter's going to go in there like, what's he saying?
Toilet roll.
It's happy pooping. That's what it is, honey. That's what it is, Gabby. Anyway. So... we move on, and it's...
we're back to Marine, aren't we?
No,
not yet. Still on Davos.
No, still.
Davos.
Yeah, we'll get to...
The thing I've been waiting for since it happened, I was like... I'm jumping out of my seat, bouncing on the...
But before we get that, we go...
John talks to Melisandre.
Yeah, John and Melisandre. Basically, John gets to her tent and says, you weren't at the War Council... and which is different for her because she's been at every other one for Stannis.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a change for her. She was not at the meeting. She's she says she's not a general, essentially, and basically Jon just asks her, don't bring me back. If I fall, don't bring me back again. And she says, well, I have to, and blah, blah, blah. But
the Lord of Light wants you for a reason, so...
Right.
Yeah, she's like, it's not really my call, so if it happens, it happens.
This is a whole new Melisandre than what we're used to.
No, not bold and confident like before.
is gone.
Stannis.
Melisandre now is like...
Basically a broken
whatever
woman,
the Lord of Light wants from me, that's what we do.
Which is kind of
Pretty
fitting
much,
because you still have somewhat of a broken Jon Snow, so they kind of go hand in hand, really.
Yeah,
You know?
with Stannis, she was like, "Oh, you do this, do this, do this."
The Lord of Light.
And we're gonna do. The Lord of Light is behind you, and we're gonna do this. And now she's like, yeah,
well, because I think she saw that it didn't work out the way she thought it was going to, and she's like, well, fuck.
Yeah, I'm better if I just don't
It's
say
like,
anything at all.
whatever. It's all good.
Yeah.
So
So
the last time I said something.
So, all right. So now we get to the scene, Steph, and I'll let you go ahead. Tell
Oh
what
my
happens.
gosh, I was so excited to see this scene because the Stannis' daughter, the princess, he was such good friends with her. It was almost like a daughter to him.
Mm-hmm.
And before he left,
Well, she was the one that taught him to read.
she taught him to
He
read.
just lost his son like earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah, a couple
in
seasons
Blackwater,
before,
yeah.
in Blackwater. But it was heart-wrenching knowing that the princess died in the fire and he wasn't there. Well, he's taking his walk, to relax himself and to calm himself before the battle, and he comes upon this pile of ash and embers. And I was like, John, he's gonna see it. He's gonna see it.
No, it's not that. Like you knew that. Like when we saw
And the thing is you knew she carried that horse he gave her up to where she was
not a
when she
horse.
was getting burned.
It's a stag.
It was a stag for their family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you. And so, and he sees it and he knows exactly. Almost exactly what's going on.
Well, you can see it's going through his mind.
No,
It's like, how did this happen? I bet. I almost guarantee you she had something.
She had something to do with it.
No,
yeah.
but Steph, you weren't saying like, oh, he's like, this is what he's gonna see her. He's gonna see her, and you're like, oh no, that's the way he's gonna find out.
Well, and you can kind of see even before he picks up the stag, he's looking around and he's like, okay, this looks like some sort of pile of ash and like a pile, like a great fire was here.
But the thing is
I've seen this before.
He's seen this before because she
Right.
burned like 7 people.
Right, and he watched
on
that.
the beach at not King's Landing, but where was Stannis?
Wherever Baratheon's.
Where was Stannis' island at again?
Come on.
Okay.
You're on Wikipedia. We just
shut up. Anyway.
Somebody map
Stop
quested.
proving your point. Somebody Westeros quested.
So, and just as he picks up the stag, the horns go off. It's dawn, and they're ready to go to battle. Obviously, he doesn't have time to go kill Melisandre.
Well, he barely has time to really contemplate it.
You're
because
right.
he's pretty much going right into, okay, I'm going to have a bunch of people trying to stab me.
Right, exactly. So he knows, but he has to go into battle knowing this. Probably worst timing ever.
Yeah.
Not that you don't want him to know it, but you're getting ready to fight a major battle.
Exactly, and your mind is elsewhere.
And you find out basically this little girl that you thought of as the daughter was burned alive.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, not real good for
somebody on your team.
Yeah.
Basically on your side, telling you that the Lord of the Light wants this to happen, and seeing John ride through the.
He's now the prince. The Stannis wasn't. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
But before they left the Night Watch, the Wall, Davos asked Melisandre, what about the princess? What about the queen? And Melisandre went to turn around and talk to him, and then John's like, "Hey, come over here," and she's like, "Okay, well, I have to go now." And it's like, "Shit!"
Yeah,
just sidestep that one.
Like, okay, fine.
Right. So we move on, and we are back in Marine, and I don't know. I guess I would call this whole segment the children of bad fathers, or the
the ladies of bad fathers that want to rule the world.
Well, and one half man. Anyway,
or two.
I'm half the man I used to be.
Well, we also have Tyrion there too.
Yeah, well,
so
he still has everything.
Yeah. So there we go. So half literally works. All right. No offense.
Love you, Tyrion.
Okay, so Theon and Yara, which apparently have caught the fast current to the south because they really moved rather quickly from the Iron
super
Islands.
Freaking fast, dude!
Yeah,
thank God. Yeah,
well, they were in Volantis last time we saw them.
No, I know, but still, we went from the Iron Islands around Westeros to Volantis, and then in the next episode, they're in Marine.
Yep.
Like,
they made
but they took the best ships
quick
though.
as possible.
They took the fastest ships.
I know, but damn, those are some fast ships. They're on
they have a crazy uncle that wants to kill them. Maybe that speeds things up a bit.
I saw a meme on Facebook. It said they must have taken the Littlefinger teleportation system. I thought it was pretty funny.
Or the EAC. You know,
EAC. Our daughter's been getting into Finding Nemo lately.
So they got really fast currents, really fast ships. So they're in Marine. So we see Theon, Yara standing before Khaleesi and Tyrion by her side.
Tyrion, I remember, what was it he was saying to him? Was like, the last time I saw you, Theon, was at Winterfell. You were saying some very unflattering things about me.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, you're making a bunch of jokes. You were making
jokes about my size.
A lot of short jokes.
A lot of short jokes. And of course, then we see like broken Theon, just like,
sorry, that was a different time.
It was a different me.
And they just kind of go back and forth a little bit, I guess. I won't. It's really just Tyrion tearing him apart. Right and left, and it is until Theon says, "I'm not fit to rule." She is, and then he goes, "Finally, something we agree on."
He's like, "I'm not fit to rule." Something we agree on. And then, of course, Yara steps up, and then it just becomes Yara and Khaleesi talking. Yeah. They both talk about their crazy fathers, and
I think it was flirting. It was more flirting on the one side than it was the other.
It really was great. It was she was talking about how it was like our uncle intends to come over here and propose your hand in marriage. She's like, and are you proposing me your hand in marriage? She's like, well, I'm not offering anything, but I'm open.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm open.
She goes, but I'm up for anything.
I'm up for anything. Well, and Khaleesi just kind of like gets a little eyebrow raise out of it. It's like,
oh, well, this is interesting.
Well, before Yara says that, Yara tells her, our uncle's on his way behind us, and he's bringing.
Well, Theon was like, he wants to give you his. But then Yara. You can take the line.
So anyway, Yara was telling her he's bringing you his ships, but with his ships comes a marriage proposal,
right? Because
and his giant cock.
Yes, because Khaleesi's like, well, why don't I just wait back?
Yeah,
because if he's got all these other ships, I might as well just wait for him.
Yeah, she's like, then why don't? Well, no, he's going to give you his giant cock as well, and she was just like, what?
I mean, it really sounded like I mean, she had the look like when a girl is being hit on by a drunk guy at a bar. Like, really?
Yeah. And finally, Khaleesi's like, okay, so I imagine you want me to recognize you as the ruler of the Iron Islands in exchange for your fleet helping me with my fleet.
Well, that's what she offers, yeah.
Right.
I'll give you my fleet if you give me the Iron
Islands. And then Tyrion even steps in and goes, well, what if the other want independence? So he's like, hold up, time out. One domino falls, everybody else is going to want their independence too, because it is the Seven Kingdoms. Mm-hmm. And even she goes, well, they can ask, which I thought, okay.
But I thought it was interesting because Khaleesi kind of put a what's the word I'm looking for? Help me.
Which one?
She put a contingency. Contingency?
She basically...
She put a marker down that said, okay, well, I'll recognize you as the Iron Islands Queen.
Yeah.
And if you recognize me as the Seven Kingdoms Queen, but no more raping and pillaging.
Right.
And Yara kind of took a step back, and she's like, But that's our way of life.
That's all we do.
You can't take that away. She goes, well, it's
Not
either
anymore.
this or nothing.
Yeah, and she's like, that's the way it has to be, essentially.
And basically, she's like, okay, whatever for now.
Yeah, basically. That's how I took it as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a reasonable demand from Daenerys' point of view. It's like, sure, I'll help you gain the Iron Islands, but don't attack my territory when you have it.
So we finally see the alliance is formed between Khaleesi and Yara. And they make and Khaleesi in parting says, "Our fathers left the world in a much worse place. We're going to leave it in a better place." So again, Khaleesi's idealism, her bigger, better world, theory.
Crazy fathers are dead. Let's do something better.
Better.
Yeah, they both remind each other of like how insane each other's fathers were.
All right. So that concludes Marine. Now moving on.
We go back to Winterfell.
Back to Winterfell.
Hey, what were those horns we heard a while back? We just got through watching like Yara and Daenerys hitting on each other. Oh wait, we have this to go on.
Yeah. Okay, so let's begin the Battle of the Bastards, essentially. Okay, so
Snowball.
Yeah. So as the armies line up on both sides, you see both sides. Obviously, you see Ramsay does indeed have more men than the Stark Alliance does. Let's just call it.
Stark Industries?
Yeah, I was like, too bad he doesn't have Tony.
I know, right? Iron Man would have been awesome.
That was the big twist in the
Captain
end.
America, where are you? Okay.
Is the Avengers just like Russian?
We have the Hulk.
It's got bought by Disney. We're just mixing everything together. Let's go.
It's actually that scene from Avengers where they're going through the woods.
Yeah.
However, the Avengers have the Hawk, but Jon Snow does have a giant. So
that's true.
So there you go. There's your
giant
connection.
without a weapon. Weirdly,
I know. I didn't.
Which we've learned thanks to the internet, I've learned the giant's name is Woonwoon.
Woonwood. Okay.
There's what?
Woonwoon. Think of win-win with a U.
Woonwoon.
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 So like moon, but
with a woonwoon.
Sure.
Okay. W-U-N. W-U-N.
Is it
okay.
1-1?
1-1. Yeah, I like 1-1.
1-1, 2-2, 3-3. Yeah.
1138.
Okay.
BB 1-1.
So you see them both lined up, and
Snowball.
I believe even Davos says to Jon ahead of time, says we've got to get him to attack again. Reiterating, we need to get him to attack us first. With that, the asshole that Ramsay is,
right after he said it.
It comes out marching out with a rope, and behind him is tied up as he pulls along is Rickon Stark,
who at this point hasn't uttered a line since season 3.
Yeah, he's kind of just been like a side character, really.
And
very side.
Much. Yeah,
very side.
You kind of forgot he was there.
So let's just.
I really did.
Let's just play it out. So he cuts the rope, lets Rickon says, "Run to your brother, boy."
Yeah, we'll play a game.
We'll play a game. I want you to run.
Run to your brother, but you have to run.
You're not running.
Yeah.
No walk, only run.
Yeah, he actually looks back like, what the hell are you going to do to me? And then, no, he's like, go run.
Yeah, you have to run.
And the idiot runs in a damn straight line.
Serpentine motion. Everyone knows that.
When I talked to the guy I worked like that, I said, why the hell is he running a straight line? That makes no sense.
One arrow, flies to the side of him. He looks back, notices the arrow, and keeps fucking running in a straight line.
Well, Ramsay is a terrifying asshole. Anyway, so Ramsay continues to fire arrows. Falls
missing on purpose.
Right to the left of him, behind him.
Arrows
Jon immediately sees this, gets on his horse, and charges to the rescue of his brother.
Davos, we have to let Ramsay make the first move. I'm gonna get you, Rickon!
So, yeah, Jon takes off, and so
basically takes the bait from Ramsay.
Takes the bait.
Leroy!
And just as Jon is about to get to him, right through the back of his head comes an arrow.
Not his head.
Well,
his
heart. Through his heart. I'm sorry, that comes later. Arrow comes through his heart. He falls dead. Obviously, Jon, pissed off, pulls out,
his
Valerian rubber sword.
Doesn't his horse get hit with a...
That's later. That's later. He decides, because he's just standing there. He's just kind of sitting there for a minute, and even they flash back to Tormund.
Because he dismounted to get off.
Tormund's like,
Rickon.
don't do it. Even the chieftain, who doesn't have any battle strategy, is like, don't do it.
Like, we spent all night talking about this. You want him to move first.
Don't do this.
Come back to the line.
And what does Jon do? He charges. And of course, when he charges, then Davos releases their cavalry after him. And as Jon is charging forward, his horse gets hit with arrows, falls, and he's about to get head on, and pulls out his sword, is ready to basically be filleted. And luckily, his cavalry comes crashing by him, and the battle...
Yeah, the wildlings, everybody.
Yeah, the Battle of the Bastards has begun, and not real well for the Stark strategy side.
Yeah, and this is it's a very, chaotic battle.
Oh, yeah. And Ramsay's like, fuck him. Just shoot them all.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't believe. I mean, I was like, I could believe it, but
because he was like fired. He's like, but our guys are down there. I don't care.
Don't care.
And Davos, they're about to do the same. Davos is like, no, we'll hit our own guys.
Yep.
And he's just flowing an arrow.
Ramsey's like,
arrow,
more men.
volley after volley of arrows. I mean, and these guys are just getting slaughtered by thousands, literally. And I mean, the bodies are piling up like they've actually become an obstacle on the battlefield.
Oh yeah, like they were a giant pile.
Giant pile of
Well,
battle.
the
Between the hand-to-hand combat.
Trump would be proud they built the wall.
They built a wall. John's army tries to go up that wall of men and gets hit by a dozen more arrows and more bodies fall.
Well,
and more bodies try to go up the thing and
bodies that are just slashing.
Well, and then that's the Umbers.
Yeah.
The Umbers come up and start cutting them down and stuff like that and come over the wall of bodies because that was their plan.
That was. And so
The bodies in the floor. The bodies in the
So finally, Davos is like, "Well, fuck it. We might as well
just be taking a shit.
Shit.
Let's go."
So the Stark
Davos and his shits.
The Stark forces are fully engaged, and then Ramsey releases the Romans.
The Phalanx.
Roman Centurion
shield
tactic.
tactic.
Like the full body length shields with their.
Yeah, they literally flank them, and so they bodied them. They've got this
They got
wall
the wall
of
bodies,
and then
they
horseshoe
surround
them
every.
Yeah,
with
blockade
the blockade of the Roman style with spears
and shields,
and then that's where you get the ooh, and they're constantly getting closer.
and closer.
Yeah, and even our beloved giant is like stuck inside this phalanx here too.
Yeah, but he's getting spear after spear after spear,
Yeah.
and this man is not going down.
Yeah,
and it's just
we love you. Love this giant.
Damn, this guy just keeps going.
And if you thought that was, and then you've got the Umbars coming over the wall at the same time, and you got
the Karstarks coming around and everything too.
And I tell you what though, the whole thing about this I didn't like was the chieftain actually says fuck this, and he actually orders the retreat during that whole battle.
It wasn't retreat. It was break through that wall.
Yeah,
and they went to break through that first row of shields.
Yeah, I know.
And there was a second row of shields right behind him, and they're like, "Fuck."
Yeah, that's when he says "fuck this," and he orders a charge, and he ends up trampling his own. Wildlings end up trampling their own people to get out.
I didn't think that was a retreat as much as a change in tactics of
they're trying to let's
take the Umbers and go up.
Well, because our fucking leader charged them before everybody else.
It was absolutely not a retreat. It was, hey, let's redo this and go up
our
the
strategies.
wall.
We can't beat the shields. Let's go the other direction.
But by doing that, they trampled their own people, and that's where
They
you see
trampled
Jon. Literally
you even see Jon Snow
for air.
Yeah, like
they
trampled a lot of people.
Jon.
Yeah,
and something that we watched later on is the way that the director filmed it and the way that he caught it, it was like a rebirth of Jon when he finally came out and was able to get that air.
Yeah.
And he was able to look around and see what the hell was going on.
I don't know about you, but that's one of the few scenes where I actually felt like I could actually feel like I wasn't breathing along with
smothered.
Jon. Because of the way it was shot.
Well, yeah, and like the way they shot it, the way the sound, like like with our speakers down here, like we heard everything collapse in.
I don't know. I was breathing the whole time.
You were breathing
fine. I literally
but you stopped.
I mean, you could just if you were claustrophobic, you probably couldn't even watch it. I mean, it was that deep. I thought, just kind of crazy.
Well, because he was getting trampled. B, people were getting killed on top of him, so those bodies were hitting on top of him. Mm-hmm. He was getting trampled by the other men, so it was like a twofold thing.
Even before he was getting trampled, it was when they were being surrounded. It was so claustrophobic just from being tightened together, and because the shields were kind of closing in every few minutes.
Well, and then you saw the before he even went under, the head of the Umber family was going to come kill him, and somehow they got split up again, and that didn't happen. So it was like, okay, well then Jon went down, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Yeah. You kill him only to bring him back to kill him again? What are you
going to pull a Trinity here on us?
But really. But luckily, the chieftain ends up against the head of the Karstarks and literally takes it looks like a bone knife and stabs him in the eye. So he's gone. But anyway, they pan out, and once John actually gets out, and he kind of looks around, and literally they're surrounded, and it looks like it's game over.
And just when all seems lost, we have a horn in the distance, looks to the horizon, and there is
the Veil.
The Rohirrim of Rohan riding to the rescue.
Riders of Rohan.
Oh, wait, this isn't Minas Tirith. It's the Knights of the Veil have come to the rescue.
And their knights just come in and slaughter the Roman flanks.
And
then King Aragorn comes in with the army of the dead.
Not yet. That's the White Walkers. But yeah, so the Veil comes to the rescue, slaughters Bolton's army. What's left of the Stark contingency, I guess, advances. Really, it's just John.
Well, no, it wasn't the whole army. It was just those three.
It was John, the giant, and the
chieftain. Yeah,
yeah. Those rushed to follow Bolton.
To follow Bolton.
Because Bolton saw what was going on. He's like, what the fuck? What? Just, huh?
Yeah.
And the next scene, you see Sansa and Littlefinger sitting at the top of the hill watching all this happen. And she's smiling. She's happy.
Yeah. She's got,
It's a smirk.
But
really, it's
until she sees John and the giant and the chief of the wildlings running after Ramsey, her smile went away.
Of course, because she wants it. She wants the kill.
No. I almost feel like she wanted John to die.
I don't.
She expected John to die.
Nah, I don't think it's quite that far yet.
No?
No.
I don't think so. But did you see that?
No, that's coming. That's where
she's sitting there and got her fingers up and the glasses come down on her face. The same scene where you're saying where she's with a big smile on her face.
Yeah.
Because it shows Bolton looking at her and then her, and then the hands go up with the middle fingers and the glasses sit down.
I feel like she expected she wanted John to be killed.
No,
and she wanted to say, "Hey, I took this."
No, that's coming. That's in the future. I think that's where Littlefinger steps in to put a wedge between them. Yeah. But that's coming, in my opinion. I don't know. Okay, so Ramsey retreats to Winterfell. Close the gates behind us. We have Winterfell. We're going to
wait out.
We can wait them out. They don't have enough forces. We'll just wait them out. And with that, you hear a doo on the door, and then another doo on the door, and finally a fist through the door, and it's the giant literally punching his way through.
They're firing arrows on him from
arrows and spears. He's already got a ton of arrows and spears in him,
and he breaks the wall down, but he doesn't keep charge the way he did at Castle Black. He's got the spears and everything. He looks like a damn pincushion by this point.
Even when he busts his hand through to pull the latch,
they speared his
hand,
and then he pulled it through.
His name is Tormund Giantsbane.
That's the chieftain. There you go.
That's our chieftain. Yes, thank
you. Okay. So the giant knocks down the door. John gets in, and it's Ramsey and John, and at this point, Ramsey, being the ass that he is just like, I've reconsidered. I think we should do that, just me and you fight.
Which, at this point, we should mention, Ramsey hasn't done a single thing other than ride his damn horse.
Well, he did kill Rickon, but, you know.
Firing an arrow, he hasn't done a damn bit of...
Technically also killed 1-1.
Yeah, he did. He put an arrow through 1-1.
John then had that moment.
Yeah.
And I really thought that the giant wasn't going to die at that point. Like, it was just like one of those, like, even though he had all the arrows, it was like, he was like, all right, we did it. And, like, I thought we were going to see him start pulling the arrows out one by one and kind of lick his wounds like he did before.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, right in the eye, and I was like, mother.
He just, that
Ramsey cementing that last bit of, hey, I'm the dick of the show.
Yeah.
So Ramsey says, I reconsidered our fight to the death, and I
want to do one-on-one battle.
John, who's basically come back from the dead again, almost.
Yeah, John's just like...
his rebirth.
John sees the giant fall, just like, you're fucking dead.
I can't deal with it.
It doesn't even have a sword. He grabs the shield.
Picks up his shield while Ramsey's firing arrows at him.
And it's a shield from that bear house, by the way. I noticed.
Mormont.
Yeah, the Mormonts. But anyway... So
yeah,
he's just
like, she shoots one,
and
he takes 3 steps.
Yep.
Rams fires again. He's like, shield.
Yep.
3 more steps, shield, and all of a sudden it was just boom. Like, you could just
smacks him with the
shield.
Yeah,
it was like he's pissed off. It was like, oh my god, this is badass.
Yes, that when he's having the shield up, you can see how far the arrows actually pierce through it.
They almost hit him.
Oh yeah,
yeah, big time.
Every time. The way, to cover myself again, Stannis is from Dragonstone.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Copy.
Got it.
So He's literally John's.
She's checking the Wikipedia throughout
Oh,
the whole thing.
I am.
She's like, "Damn it! This is every question I
Hey,
missed."
remember at the beginning of the show when we were talking about this?
I am still your Wikipedia.
Google says
that was
Google says it's
Steph says Google says no. Steph says it.
So John,
Tiny Bubbles has spoken.
Yeah, Tiny Bubbles.
To put us back on course, John is wailing on Ramsey. He stops, he looks over, it basically almost beat him to death with his own bare hands, and he happens to look over, and this is where I thought was really cool. He sees Sansa, and he stops, because he realizes...
I almost thought she was going to say, "Don't stop on my account."
I thought for sure it was going to be like a nod.
She's like,
Like,
"The fuck are you doing?"
He's just beating the crap, and he stops, looks up, and I was waiting for her to go ahead.
Like,
and him just
finish
Just
it.
kind of looking.
hey, even better would be thumbs down.
Yeah.
Go thumbs down.
But yeah, I thought it was really cool, John, because John literally had all that emotion and all that anger and rage.
Well,
and
he
was
just
able to
watched
stop.
his brother die.
Yeah.
Or he just watched his half brother die a horrible death.
All of his friends
All
of
his
the Wild
friends.
Lanes.
He just watched his friends die. He just watched his favorite giant get killed. And
Which, by the way, is the last giant.
yes, bye
Probably.
bye.
That's an entire race he killed off.
I mean, he's been through hell and back, and it's all because of this guy.
Most of it, yeah.
To be
a good-
fair,
a
John
good
could
chunk
have
of it,
curtailed a lot of it
But
by not charging like Leroy Jenkins
still,
across the field.
Still very cool to see John pull back to honor his sister and let her do as she wishes with him, essentially.
Which, little production note here. They spent an entire day filming that scene alone, I found out. Just Jon Snow punching Ramsay for 10 hours.
That's awesome.
And one punch actually connected, and Kit Harington said, "Yeah, I felt bad. One punch actually connected, and I had to buy Ewan a pint for that.
Yeah.
I felt bad."
So
Fuck that.
He's there's going to be
But as an
DVD
actor,
extras.
he's good.
Oh yeah,
that scene.
I will say
10 hours of him shooting it.
We'll get to that here in a minute.
Well, they said the battle scene by itself took $10 million.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, that's-
23 days to shoot, $10 million, yeah. And
I
every
couldn't even
penny of
imagine
it
that.
shows.
Oh, it was amazing. I thought it was probably better than any fight scene I saw in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Braveheart. It eclipses Braveheart easily. I mean, it's
up
like
there. Yeah.
Gladiator, fuck Gladiator.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the problem with your last statement in that John letting Sansa do whatever she wanted with Ramsay. Because he tells whoever it is to take him and throw him somewhere. Well, he doesn't tell her where.
No, she has to ask him where is he.
She says, like, where did you even put him?
Well, she just goes, "Where's he at?"
Yeah.
I mean, literally just where the fuck is he? I need to know. So the next scene, though, big time nerdgasm. The flailed man falls, banner falls, and once again the Stark banner flies down.
The direwolf flies again.
Flies again over Winterfell. Yay!
And there was much rejoicing.
Yay! Hooray for our side. Okay.
And then as everyone's like looking over the chaos, Melisandre walks through. We've had a little moment. And Davos is on the second floor just staring right down at her.
I mean, and it's like my head's down and I'm staring up, daggers. Look, I mean, you know it's coming at some point. Probably next episode. You know, it's coming. So,
and I have a question about that too.
Yeah.
Is Jon Snow connected to her? So if she dies, will Jon Snow die?
That's a good point.
Probably not.
I don't know. We don't know.
I don't think so.
We have never explored that. That's a good point.
Since she's the one that kind of
what about the
brought him back?
Well, the person that brought in the last episode, the guy that the Hound ran into that said was brought back. Didn't that guy get killed off?
No.
No. The guy that brought him back is still in that group.
They're together again.
They're together. He's the one that told the Hound he needed to join them and come fight because the Lord of Light has brought him back so many times.
And that is why I checked with my wiki over here before I idiotically brought it up.
He said the Lord of Light has a better plan for you.
Right. Okay, so but anyway, that's a good point though. Like, yeah, maybe if Melisandre dies,
it could be. We've never explored that before.
Good, Brian.
Thanks.
So
they're just necromancers.
And finally we come to the greatest scene ever.
What's up, dog?
A bleeding Ramsey is in a room. Sansa in the cell. It looks like a very
doghouse.
Familiar cell.
It's a familiar place. He's basically taken to the dungeons of Winterfell.
In the middle of it, outside the gate, is Sansa peering at him. Ramsey kind of wakes up. And basically, Sansa, there's a little bit of a conversation. He's like, so is this where I'm going to stay? And then he's like, oh, I guess this is where we part. But just remember that there's always a little bit of me in you and blah, blah, blah. If you, basically meaning he's left his mark on her, essentially. That she's damaged because of him. And then I love her line. Her line may be the best of all. And Stephanie, go ahead, because you're a female. Go ahead and say it. Your house.
What? Your house will be
the little quotations there on
your
house will disappear, your name will disappear, and all memory of you will disappear.
And with that, Ramsey's dogs come out from their cells. They basically, and then Ramsey's like, oh well, they're loyal to me, they're not going to attack me. And then she's like, well, like you said, they haven't eaten in 7 days. And they've already got a taste for blood. We've seen that, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So the one dog kind of puts his paws up on him.
He almost looks like a pit.
Kind of, yeah.
But I like...
It's an oversized pit.
I like pit bulls.
But that is very profiling of a dog, thinking that it's going to be the pit bull that's the ravenous one.
Well, once again, if any dog, it's how they're raised.
So the dog...
Ramsey raised them.
But
Ramsey says, like, no, they're loyal to me. They won't attack.
And then... the dog actually licks him ahead of time, like whetting his appetite. Like licks him on the face
because he's covered in peanut butter.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell it when you're watching it. Yeah. He's actually covered in peanut butter because the dog's even wagging his tail like, I really want the peanut butter.
I went to
Anyway,
unless they actually like put him like liver paste on him or something.
Anyway,
I can see that working really well. Yeah.
So the dog licks him. Lips his chops and bites his face off.
She goes, like you said, they haven't eaten in 7 days.
Fucking fantastic. And the rest you see is just his hands shaking as
the blood coming down.
Blood coming down as the dogs and the bunch of barking. As
and
the
there's
dogs
my wife, like, and
just
me, just in the couch, just
eating
losing our shit.
We're sitting here downstairs watching the show because our daughter sleeps upstairs and it's too loud. But we're sitting down here watching the show, and I'm laughing
and clapping.
I was too, actually.
And I looked over and I'm like, okay, for my wife who hates horror films,
we've never cheered at a death scene ever.
For my wife who hates horror films, I'm sitting there watching this going, do you guys realize what the show does? It has made us cheer for like one of the most violent acts I have ever seen put on film.
And I was too. I was like, yes. I almost wanted to see more. I was like, my blood was like, ah.
No, I was sitting here going. and John's like, okay.
No.
Fantastic. I couldn't have got any better. Brian, what did you think of the scene?
Oh, I mean, it was a great scene. It was very, very, satisfying for the audience. I'm sure almost every audience member, except for the people who always root for the bad guy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So everybody was probably like, yes, finally something happened to somebody who we wanted it to happen to.
Exactly.
My question though, what do they do with the dogs now?
Well, they're fed.
Yeah, but
let them poop them out and then kill them.
You think they're gonna kill the dogs?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, they'd have to put them down.
Yeah, they're way too. They're
too Boltonized.
Yeah.
Well, they've been trained to be violent, but if you keep them like in cages unless you're going out hunting,
they've got the taste of blood. That's lost cause.
But yes, and then the last thing we see on this, Sansa walks away, and that smile that she had out on the battlefield, that smirk comes right back,
and it's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty, and like she was laughing, I was going nuts, and it can only be summed up as like I played earlier.
I'm glad you're dead.
You're a gruesome bastard, and
I'm glad you're dead.
I'm glad you're dead.
Yeah, it's a funny thing is I actually read somewhere that apparently they've built this up so well. Someone actually said, was his death foreshadowed at the very first episode of the season, where Ramsey's own father says, if you acquire a reputation as a mad dog, he'll be treated as a mad dog, taken out back and slaughtered for pig feed.
And that's pretty much what happened, except he was dog food.
Well,
his own dog food.
He's Ramsey in bits.
Well, I thought that was the conversation he had with his father right before he killed him.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because that was just this season, right?
Yeah,
that was just this season.
Yeah, it was right before he killed his dad.
Yeah.
So a very satisfying scene.
And a very satisfying hour.
It was a great episode.
I mean...
But
we're not used to satisfaction in Game of Thrones. We're used to heartbreak and the world is shit.
That's true. And with that, let's get into final thoughts and grades.
Oh, we got some discussions here.
Oh, we have discussion
beforehand.
points?
Hank actually wanted to bring up something.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
A discussion between Tyrion and Daenerys, like very in the beginning. He pulls her back because he says she's acting like the Mad King and that the dragon fire below King's Landing is why Jaime killed him.
Why are you talking about that it was actually real? And they did find it, and that's the reason why he was killed. He was power hungry, talking about going to burn them all, and it was kind of like him pulling the reins back of her,
going over the
almost
edge.
going over that edge where there's no coming back from.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of a cool point.
So yeah, maybe that's actually a good thing that Tyrion has met up with Daenerys. Is Tyrion's probably going to be the thing that keeps her from being the Mad Queen.
Possibly. I mean, it's be really kind of dependent on how her power continues to grow and how she deals with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tyrion is literally physically in stature as well as mentally. He's the embodiment of being humble, right? In a way, yeah. Like he's been raised to be a king. He's been trained to be a king. Really, yeah, he is though. But in reality, he's never going to be king, right? So he's always been grounded because of what he is, which is in this world, which is not accepting of a dwarf becoming a king. So he's the humble. He's the rock. He's the one that's always gonna to humble. He understands that, I guess, is my point.
Well, I mean, he's been looked down
upon. Are you trying to say he's grounded because he's close to the ground?
No.
Are you saying he's looked down upon because he's close to the ground?
Well, within the universe,
no,
yeah, he
but
is.
Well, he's an embodiment of everything. Like the way his character's probably written as a dwarf to be a physical embodiment of all this stature that he has.
But one of the great things that makes a great leader is humility. So therefore, he like I said, he just kind of
brings the humility.
Yeah,
that
he
he's
does.
learned.
He didn't get that humility until after Blackwater.
Even before, well, maybe he stopped whoring around and he.
Well, yeah, but he didn't get that. He wasn't trained to be a king. Because there was no way his father was going to let him.
But his family, his stature,
his name alone, that's it.
If he hadn't been born the way he was, though, he'd be second in line.
Jamie
after Jamie.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah,
Tywin should have been, king or whatever, but they let Joffrey because Joffrey was a Baratheon.
Well, right, I understand that, but I'm just saying. The way he's brought up, he should have at the very least been a prince. You can understand what I'm saying? He should have always worn the crown, but yet he'll never be that in this world.
Well, I mean, he's rich, he's highborn, he's noble family, but you can make the argument he's not, in line for royalty.
No,
in terms of the castle.
No, but I'm just saying that the money, the wealth, the power.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at him early on in the first couple of seasons, he's kind of a spoiled brat.
He's kind of an ass.
Maybe, I mean, a little bit, but...
he's used to just paying everybody off and whoring around, being the god of tits and wine.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, he's seen some shit that, has messed with him, but he's never... I wouldn't really call him humble until later in the series.
All right, well, if you guys want to make the thing that Blackwater's where he inherits
Blackwater's where he
humility. Okay, fine, I might buy that.
Humbling, yeah.
But
you have the whole thing with
humbleness, maybe not humility.
Thank you.
Well, that you have him escaping King's Landing for killing his father, and that whole trial for killing Joffrey. There's a lot of trials,
a lot of shit. Yeah,
there was a lot that led to his current humility, not necessarily he was born with it.
But power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the Lannisters basically had almost absolute power.
Yeah.
So, and the only thing that counters that is being humble to that.
Well, which even in some respect, even Jaime got humbled in season 3 by losing his hand.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
But that's why Cersei hates him so much. Cersei hates Tyrion because unfortunately, when he was born, their mother died. in childbirth. So she hates Tyrion for that. She hates Tyrion for being so different from her and Jaime in that he is humble. He does, feel sorry for the Starks and for the poor people of King's Landing and stuff like that. Cersei couldn't give a shit about anybody else except her family, and that's fine. That's how she was raised.
Exactly.
But Tyrion hasn't always been humble. Tyrion found his humility.
Humility. Humility was the word I was
found his humility and found his
we just saw that word in a spider's web over a pig.
Found his strength.
Charlotte was drunk.
He had his umbilical cord cut.
Well, this is Kentucky. Come on.
Yeah, he went to Lord.
We're Midwest.
He found his heart. He found his heart when he said that speech to get the knights in King's Landing to fight for
basically the Blackwater rally.
He did that Blackwater rally, and that's where his heart came out. Because he was trying to save the people of King's Landing from being raped and pillaged by Stannis and his army.
I think he's always had a heart, though. I mean, yeah, was he spoiled? Yeah, did he whore around? Did he, do some not so great things? But he was never as horrible person.
But I think honestly, where his heart finally stepped up and came in was when he spent all that time with Varys.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is the only way that came out.
Saved by the Eunuch.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
It's a horrible TV show.
It was better than Touched by a Eunuch.
Oh, jeez.
He's a eunuch. He's a eunuch.
He's dead.
He's dead.
The jig is up
and gone. All right. Any other discussion?
Going into one big point I want to throw around the table for everyone. Is Jon Snow an idiot?
No.
Yes. I'm going to say yes.
All right.
This one.
Explain.
Being fucking Leroy Jenkins, being told for half a goddamn episode, don't rush the battlefield. Here's our plan. They have your brother. We need to keep our cool. My brother, I will run straight out at you.
But that's
seriously, really?
That's Jon, though. That's Jon's.
Does that make him less of an idiot, though?
Well, that's nobility.
But Ramsey knew he would pull on out. Ramsey knew that's what
because
happened.
he knows that Jon Stark is all heart, and he wears
Jon
his heart
Stark.
on his sleeve. Jon Stark. He's going to be Jon Stark.
Yeah, at some point.
I almost guarantee you, end of this episode, and the next episode, that one I have a prediction, but he's going to be called Jon Stark. But anyway, I think
the new king of the North.
Yeah. And I think that's
unless it's Targaryen.
That's his fault. Is his heart.
Yeah.
And
sure.
Especially his love for his family. Mm-hmm. And that's what they played on. So I wouldn't call him an idiot per se, because he knows what needs to be done.
But a lot of the times the heart can cloud your mind when you need it the most, which I hate to say it is on a battlefield.
Well, sure, when you throw family into anything, it changes the situation regardless.
Sure, that's what every battle in this family has been in this show is about family.
Devil's advocate. If Abby was running towards you, what would you do?
Use every bit of my hatred if anything happened.
But would you run to try to go get her?
I would do everything I can to bring her out there. I didn't say I was going to go out there myself. I'd do everything I can to bring her out there. But let's thank God that we don't have a Bolton family and we're not a Stark.
Okay.
All right, I'll put it in this perspective. If Aaron's out there, number one, I would hope, Aaron, that you would actually hit the ground at some point and not keep
running. Abby, don't run in a straight line. Don't run in a... I raised you better than to run in a straight line, Abby.
However, if I saw Aaron, yes, I would rush out and save my brother.
Exactly.
That's what I do.
I take a few people out there with me knowing this,
maybe you'd go ahead and charge your army.
I'd have some plan with me when I'm, planning this the night before.
No, but he didn't know he was going to do that. He didn't know he was going to say, run towards him.
But still, though.
He's playing with his emotions.
And even Sansa told him that in there. She's like, he's going to play with you. He's going to manipulate you.
I will agree that he did not take Sansa's advice, yes. I will give you that.
He's known for not taking advice throughout the show, though.
But
John will always
okay,
try to do what John thinks is best.
Yeah,
John Snow
and-
thinks
and-
is
That's what got him stabbed.
He's trying to do what's right.
You know nothing, John Z.
And if my
My
brother,
wife's only allowed to say that.
okay, fine.
Then you know nothing, Heavy
John
Bubbles.
Z.
Tiny Bubbles is right.
So
I will pop your tiny bubbles.
ew. Okay,
Oh god,
so
if you
if-
take it that way.
If my
Oh.
brother was out there and he was running towards me or whatever, first he'd be like, "Oh fuck, my sister's coming to save me." Shit. But
Then every 70 takes 3 steps and falls over.
yeah,
He's like, I'm coming to save you.
No, she'd be like, John, go out there and get him. I'd be like, really?
well, he's your brother too.
No offense, no offense, Stephanie, but you don't have the arms to actually grab him. Just saying.
Stephanie on horseback goes to reach down to grab him and completely misses him.
Falls off the horse because I don't do well with horses. No.
Okay. Any other discussion points?
I think that's the only one I
Okay,
had.
I think-
That's the big thing right now is everybody is getting on Jon Snow's case for charging out there like Leroy Jenkins.
I don't know. We could always talk about Davos and the Red Woman. How that
Okay,
resolves
we can
next
talk about
episode.
that. I have no problem with that. I think we already know from the previews that he takes her before Jon Snow. Why he does that, and that just shows his nobility. If I was Davos, I'd probably just go ahead and kill the bitch, but
just kind of knife in the back,
Well,
walk away.
he kind of chucks her in front of John, and he's like, "Tell him what you did."
Well, that's our preview for the next one.
But really, I haven't seen the trailer for the preview.
Yeah.
that's
yes,
what it
yes,
is.
Steph, that's the trailer.
So that's why I wonder. That just shows his nobility.
So even if she
To me.
confesses to, like setting her on fire,
John may decide to let her go with
Well,
it,
I mean,
you
that's
know.
kind of like an act of war in a way. Like she was trying to help her side win. So where do you go on the fence of like judging that?
Well, you gotta. It's a judge. It's morality too. You
So
gotta take that.
our next
killed a
episode is going to
child.
have a
Yeah.
lot of trials.
I really, and once again, this is just the fear in me because I know how now granted, we're away from the books now, but how Martin works. I think this episode was such a high. I'm a little worried about the next episode being
What,
kind
just
of
setting
a
it
low.
up, just like
Well,
shit hits the fan everywhere.
No, usually episode 10 is kind of like
it's a setup.
A shit hit the fan everywhere, and it's a setup for the next season.
Yeah, it's kind of a mellow.
And right now, is
tapering off.
next season the last season, or is there season
Next
8?
season's the last season. There's no season 8.
So next season is fucking huge.
Yeah.
If they don't sign up for another one.
And they're even talking about making it a short season, too.
Yeah, I've heard 7 episodes. What I've heard.
Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the last season?
Yeah, I know.
What the fuck?
I know.
What are they going to be like? 2 hours apiece?
Pretty much.
Yeah. I
Are they going to be 2 hour?
No,
2
what
hour
they're going to do is
specials?
they're going to do 7 episodes, and then they're going to make a movie.
A movie for 8, 9, to 10.
It's going to be 7
7
episodes,
seasons.
but they're all movies.
7 seasons in a trilogy.
I'm fine with
Oh,
I'm
dude,
fine
that
with
sucks.
Well, you heard the whole 5 seasons. Was it 6 seasons in a movie or 5 seasons in a movie?
2 guys in a pizza place. Great.
fun stuff.
Community reference.
All right, so let's finally get into final thoughts and grades. All right, Aaron, final thought.
I think there's no other grade you can give this outside of like an A+ or anything
with
beyond
ya.
that. I mean, this episode did so much in terms of action, emotion, just even like the subtle symbolism, like in the war where you have like almost like souls reaching out from the river Styx or like the gates of hell sort of like paintings. Like it did that really well, and actually it didn't beat anyone over the head with it, and it was amazingly well done. You look at how the action scenes were shot, and I think we talked earlier about how it was like 23 days to shoot that, if not longer, something like that. And I mean, just you look at how, like, I can't think of a movie action like war scene that did as well as that episode.
I agree, it's up there.
So yeah, it was a great episode.
Okay, what's your grade then?
A+. If not
Yeah,
higher.
he said A+. Yeah.
Okay.
He said that earlier.
Sorry, I missed that. Brian?
Let's see. It was a great episode in terrific battle. I was disappointed we didn't get to see anything of the Night King or the White Walkers. Hopefully we get to see him in the next episode. Get into the wall. I was disappointed we didn't get to see anything of a riot. You know, the whole, we didn't get any of her coming back or any kind of her journey
Arya.
back.
Yeah.
Arya. And but even those things missing didn't take away from this episode.
No, hell no.
You know, it was definitely an A+ episode. The only thing I'm not sold on is the ladies leading all the places.
Okay.
Oh, that's what the.
So it's. I realize it's Game of Thrones. It's not really supposed to be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
With the dragons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the women running all the different places.
Tiny Bubbles is about to go off.
Well, no, she can go off if she wants. But what I'm saying is, it's not very realistic of having women run all the different places.
Let me get my sparkling water.
Yeah, it's not realistic. It was always kings and nobility and all that kind of stuff. It was never the queens would run it. You know what I mean?
Well, the kings have fucked everything up, though.
My line.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, I don't see. I put in my notes. I can see one or two of them being in charge, running their respect. But all of a sudden, it almost seems like every place is going to have a woman leader.
Well, currently, Daenerys is the only one who's actually currently in charge. Like,
Right,
but
but
the Iron Islands,
right,
the uncle.
But Yara wants to be Dorne. Dorne is a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Daenerys is the one from the Bear Island. She,
Mormont.
It's a very
Mormont.
small little castle.
But what I'm saying is they're setting them all in place. It's all women, and it's just like it's not very real. Going like if it's supposed to be like medieval times or whatever.
Yeah,
it's not very realistic of what it was in medieval times.
And they're kind of setting up Sansa for Winterfell.
Exactly.
Would you?
And that's just too much. Like I can do one or two, and that makes perfect sense to me. But not all of a sudden, it's gonna be all women running.
So,
look
would you go as to say as it has a political conspiracy?
Exactly, and that's I put it in my notes. I put it in my notes that it almost feels like Hollywood pushing their agendas because all of a sudden we're also getting, we're getting women's rights.
Where's my Black Widow action figure? Is all I want to say. If that's true,
we're getting gay and lesbian stuff in there. It's all being forced right in mainstream storyline. So
sorry, if Hollywood's mainstream is being forced, then. Yes, Yara's kind of bisexual in that event, but she's the only one. Wouldn't they all be gay or lesbian or whatever?
No, because that scene really didn't need to be in there.
But if you look at the kings and everything, you had Robert Baratheon, a drunk and an asshole. He didn't do the Seven Kingdoms any favors. You had Ned Stark, yes, great man,
just like what a king would have been in medieval times.
Yes, great man.
And how well that sit.
Exactly.
Okay. You had Ned Stark, great man. Yes, he probably should have lived. Oh well, they cut off his head. Moving on. Jorah and his brother both. Jorah's still around. He's trying to find, what is it? Cure for his dragon skin.
Yeah. Whatever, grayscale.
Yeah.
The stone
grayscale.
Yeah, whatever. He's trying to find something for that. His brother's dead. His brother got killed at the battle beyond the wall. You had the Iron Islands king, who was a fucking idiot by all rights, according to his family, who was too old to rule, who should have given it away earlier, but didn't. You have Walder Frey, who, God help me, why isn't that man dead yet?
Get ready for the next episode.
We see that hall again.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome back, Lady Stoneheart.
So all the men in the episode, all the men in the show haven't really done that great of a job. So hey, women can try it. Why not?
Hey, Steph, there's actually, when you were saying that, there's actually one thought I had too. There's even Leaf in this past season has said the reason we created the White Walkers, we feared the world of men.
Men, yeah.
Well, that's
but women
a
are
generalization for humankind.
Yeah,
but
I think it was just everybody.
I know, but it's just the way that can be like interpreted in both senses.
But if you also,
seems like that's kind of forcing the interpretation.
If you also look at it, they are kind of keeping a guy in charge too, in a way, by keeping Bran as possibly the three-eyed raven.
So they're keeping a guy. Well, that's good.
A guy.
A guy.
Well, a guy.
Well, what kingdom hasn't screwed it up?
You look at
I'm not talking about people not screwing it up, but
okay. But here's the thing: to play devil's advocate really quick, if that's true, where's my Black Widow action figure?
I don't know where your Black Widow action
they won't make it.
No,
they won't make it.
Well, I understand where Brian's coming from. I understand it would in the time period that it's set in. It is a little odd. I will agree that it would seem a little strange.
But it's the one thing that sets this world apart from every other fantasy medieval world.
Okay, well, great, but I understand exactly.
I mean, that's all I'm saying is that, and I have no problem with women running whatever they want to fucking run, but what I'm saying is, if this is based in medieval times and they want to try to make it realistic, there is not going to be 4 of your or 5 of your main villages or cities or whatever run
Empires.
by women. Yeah,
I think with vaginal smoke demon things and dragons and people coming back from the dead and Man of Stone and everything, I think we've kind of veered away from realism in this show.
Well, maybe, but I get what Brian's saying. He's not coming against women necessarily. He's just saying what we've seen in the past and what history has dictated.
Like if this were medieval times,
otherwise, yeah.
But I think that's what makes the show great, is because whereas back in those times when we're completely oppressed, this is what would turn it on its ear and say, hey, what if it were the other way around?
Yeah.
Well, and then you're saying, Hollywood's pushing its agenda. Well, if you look at the political mess that we're in right now, coming up to 2016 election, we have a woman and a crazy man.
Crazy woman and a crazy
woman, yeah.
Crazy woman and a crazy man.
Psycho woman and crazy guy. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you want to win for that one?
My V for Vendetta mask that keeps popping up on my Facebook feed.
Right now, everyone's looking at going, "Oh, Trump's going to win." Well, I actually think Hillary's probably going to win. But anyway.
Okay, well, let's try to
let's get the politics away from us.
You know what?
I'm not worried about what's going to happen
I'm saying
politically.
politics is playing a hand in it too.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to Final Thoughts and Grades.
Final Thoughts and Grades of the episode.
Stephanie, what'd you think of the episode?
A+.
A+? Okay.
I said my piece. I'm good.
Okay. Johnny?
What else can I say? Yeah, you're right, Aaron. What grade can you give this episode other than A+? It's the production values on this show keep climbing higher and higher every time we get to these battles, like from Blackwater to the Wall to the Battle of the Bastards. I mean, this show is exceeding what we see in the movie theaters, what we see as like blockbusters, what we went to see in like Lord of the Rings and everything. I mean, this is becoming... I don't know, we're not used to seeing TV have this kind of scale before. It's fantastic, and it's like the characters are satisfying, the plots are so satisfying. God, like the whole season and just waiting for this moment was so worth it. There wasn't one single second that disappointed me in this episode.
Absolutely. I'll give it A+. I'll give it 12 golden dragons out of 12 golden dragons. I don't, raging, roaring,
golden
whatever
crowns
you want to call it.
7 direwolves out of 7 direwolves.
I don't see
7 direwolf heads.
As much pain and as much agony as we've gone through watching Game of Thrones and watching our characters slaughtered one after one, favorite after favorite. This was the most satisfying. It was like they rewarded us. It was like, here's what you get for all of your pain and suffering.
Your Sunday sacrifices.
Yeah, here it is.
Your world is not so shit. Enjoy.
Therefore, feast and be happy. This was an absolute joygasm, nerdgasm, joygasm from beginning to end, from start to finish, from A to B to Z, X, Y, Z. You had dragons, ships on fire. You had
beheadings.
The beheading. You had the most antichrist bastard eaten alive by his own fucking dogs. Holy shit. Yes. Thank you. I'm done. Out of here. It couldn't have been done.
I'm spent.
And I'm spent.
What was the line from Christmas Vacation?
Hallelujah!
Holy
shit! Where's the Tylenol? You know what? I just figured it out. I think we should actually have, for a Halloween costume this year, like how they had like Dead Joffrey as like a really big Halloween costume, and somebody actually like did the what was it? Who was the magician in Vegas?
Whatever it is, no.
Have Ramsey Bolton with a bulldog, like a stuffed bulldog, attached to their neck as like a Halloween costume of bloody Ramsey Bolton.
I think I'll just go around as a big thing of dog food that says Ramsey and bits on it. I think that's more satisfying. So, there you go. All right. Well, Brian, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Stephanie, thanks for joining us.
Yay, thank you. Tiny Bubbles out.
Tiny Bubbles out. Aaron, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Jay-Z,
The women shall lead.
Not so realistically, I'm just kidding. And for myself, B. Willie saying, thanks for hating Ramsey. Thank you.
No,
Thank
loving.
you,
For
thank
loving.
you. For loving. Oh, yes. Thank you for loving him and
Love
caring
him
about
to
him.
death.
We couldn't have loved him better, in my opinion. Good night.
I'm glad you did.